What is poppin' MFL Nation? We got Terry Babalis, Willpower, and Max Rosenfeld joining us live here. MFL Total Access. We got quarterfinals to recap. We got semifinals to preview. Man, oh man, we can't just jump right into it because we got to talk
And
about.
we forgot the most important thing. You got some champions to talk about.
That is correct. I would see if you were paying attention. We got some champions to crown as well, and yeah, we got a nice special guest on the show today.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Max by now, especially since he's been writing for Laval and Brossard. But if you want to just introduce yourself in a few words.
Sure. Yeah. Max Rosenfeld. Probably most of you know me from refereeing. I've been playing longer in the MFL in Terry or Will since before it was the MFL. I'm a Holy Troller quarterback, retired, now outlaw, Div 1 snapper, but I play any position really. Big booties in Division 5, and referee and writer for Brossard and Laval.
It's funny as the league grows and we have more and more new players, new teams. Steve was telling me a story that he was reffing a women's game, and then after that he was playing with outlaws, and the girls were passing. He's like, "Oh, the ref plays, the ref plays." Well, he's like, they go to the MFL, and these new people don't know who's who, right? Like the OGs that have been there from the beginning know of most of the MFL great accolades. But yeah, you said like you just said, most people are going to see you. These new people and be like, "Oh, you're just a ref," and they're going to say, "Oh, you also play." Little
Yeah,
little,
I get that a
little
lot. It's
accomplished.
like, hey ref, hey ref, hey ref, and then they realize who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and you also been writing this season for Laval and Brossard. Some really nice reads. Like I know I enjoyed reading you. No mistakes in your articles and good insights there. Really appreciate that, and I'm sure the Laval and Brossard folks appreciate that. Let's get right into it and talk about those finals. Starting with Brossard, since you were there, Max. What a finals day! Like I mean, playoff day it was. You know, in Brossard, we had the semifinals and finals for both divisions all at once. And let's get into it. A few shockers, eh?
Yeah, I know. At least for me, I put my own predictions on my articles. I was super wrong with what happened. I got one game right, I think, out of like all of them. But the atmosphere at the field, every team was so intensely focused, and it was back and forth constantly. I really had no clue who was going to win anytime. Even like the semifinal games too. The finals were both insane. I refed them both, and I was there kind of all year seeing all the teams, and it couldn't have been a better like Sunday to end the season.
Yeah, and the weather wasn't so bad. Like it was a little cold
No,
early
it
in the
was
morning,
cold,
but
but
then the sun came out and it was like great football weather.
yeah. So furious, not fast. Lepech Show were huge favorites. They were up in the first half, and then realistically, they just kind of shut down on defense. Furious, not fast. Had a chance. They had a lot of chances. They just kind of missed their opportunities. Both teams were talking a lot of like smack throughout. First half was really chippy, a lot of whining. So learn from that. Both teams, you hurt yourselves. So we cleaned it up. Second half, nothing, all clean, and it was really intense. And the key play was Furious, not fast, had scored just at the end of the game with a few minutes left, and they had a 2-point conversion to tie it. That was like the breaking point for the game, and then couldn't kind of punch it in, and Le Show kind of just ended the game. And yeah, it was a great run at the end by Louis. He kind of avoided 2 tackles down the sideline.
I'm guessing Percho had all their Furious Not Fast had all three timeouts left. That's why the game didn't end after the convert.
Right, they had all three.
Yeah, and then a first down ended the game.
Yeah, yeah, it was huge. It was huge.
That's exciting though, where you always look for a close game, and the fact that the semifinals went down to literally the last convert that was not to be is good because, like you said, Max, they were pretty heavy favorites right throughout the season. They were like either the 1 or the 2 seed, I'm pretty sure, and looks like it was an exciting game.
And those were the only points scored in the whole second half, eh?
Yeah, it was really a struggle. There's a bunch of picks, turnovers, punts. No team had flow throughout the game. They were focused too much on like the wrong stuff. They weren't really focused on the play as much as like
Officiating.
not the officiating, each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
It wasn't a group of guys that were going to go grab some beers with the other team, basically.
no, definitely not. Well, the second half was not chippy. It was clean, nothing. We took the first half to clean up the game, and the players made all the plays, and one team came up short.
Okay. And I think Perchaud maybe kind of brought that attitude and that maybe not attitude, but like that level of play into the finals. Because I was shocked to see a two-score. First, I was shocked to see that it was a two-score championship win, and then even more shocked to see it, even though Impact had the one seed, Perchaud did beat them twice in the regular season.
The score doesn't really show the game because Impact scored on the last play of the game when they needed a first down. So it was just like a bomb at the end. It was really, really close. It was 12-7 for Perchaud at halftime. And then they kind of replicated their first game where they didn't score any points in the second half, which was pretty shocking. When Impact went up 13-12, Louis had several chances to go down the field. I think there was a key red zone stop also for Impact, a pick or two kind of close to the end zone that were really, really huge. And then at the end, they were on third down. You get the stop, you have one play to maybe score. And Mike hit Kevin for 40 plus yards, I believe. Yeah, they're 46 yards. And you could just see like the life was sucked out of Perchaud because they had one play, anything could happen. I think in the last game of the regular season, I saw like a tip drill, 35-yard catch to win the game against Banana Blitz to secure the second seed. So like anything could happen. One play, he missed two tackles, but it was back and forth, turnovers, punts, couple scores. Both teams were exhausted. I could tell at the end of the game.
Yeah, well, I guess the bye came in handy for Impact at that point, right?
Yeah, you could see it. I think looking at the play-by-play, Louis drove most of the field and threw a pick in the red zone with 18 seconds left. That was the biggest play of the game by far. It was huge. You could tell like everyone on Impact like lost their minds in like a positive way. It was really, really intense. On third down, it was enormous. It was Bolduc, I think he had the pick to seal it.
Yeah, so it's crazy. The game ends 2-score difference, but 18 seconds to go. Perchaud have the ball down 7 in the.
They're about to win the game, and then it changes. It's crazy. It's kind of similar to what happened in the Div 1 final. To foreshadow for you, it was just last second switch craziness. It was nuts.
And was this game chirpy, or did it have a little bit more?
No, it was really, really quiet until until 18 seconds because every single player was not sure what was going to happen.
Okay. Talk to me about playoff MVP Kevin Dubé, 7 for 86, 2 touchdowns, 2 sacks in this game, 5 total tackles. He even rushed once for a yard. Clearly, Mike's go-to, right?
Yeah, they took a lot of deep shots to Yalong Ku, he's crazy fast. He's like would rival a lot of the D1 speed at least in even Saturday League. But Kevin sure-handed caught, the game-winning essentially touchdown. His picks were enormous. I think he single-handedly won the game for his team. Key first downs. He was the guy that Mike was looking for every single time, and it showed on the stat sheet. But in the game, you could see everyone was like, "This guy is the guy."
Yeah. I think I said 2 sacks, and I meant 2 interceptions. And
yeah, 2 picks.
Yeah. And Mike had a pretty good game himself throwing for. Well, I mean, both quarterbacks threw for a lot of yards. It just shows that they were both, even though it was a fairly low-scoring game, only like 5 total touchdowns on the last play. You can see both quarterbacks for roughly around 250 yards, like driving the field almost 5 times each. That's a lot of yards.
Yeah. There was 3 or 4 deep balls that were like 1 yard too far that Mike threw, that would have broke the game open, but he didn't hit them, and they were there. He just missed them by a yard or two too far, but he has a crazy arm. He can throw the whole field.
Okay.
Pretty clutch impact rate, scoring their 4 touchdowns all on third down, I think it was. So talk about coming up down the clutch. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add for Division 2 before we go to Division 1?
I think we're good.
In Division 1, Guillaume warned us. He said, "Don't sleep on Southsiders." He said it multiple times, and it turns out he was right. Southsiders are Brossard Division 1 champions. How did they get there, Max?
Southside Guillaume talks to me every week. He's like, "I'm gonna make a play so you write about it in your article." So he's fun to talk to. But they were, I think, really out of the playoffs, and they won like three of the last four of the last five to make it, and then they went 2-0.
They started 0-4.
Yeah, they
1-2, 1-4. They started.
Wow.
And that only loss late in the season was against the team they faced in the finals.
Yeah, so they won 6 of the last 7, and they really found their groove. Guillaume, I didn't ref this game, but I could hear from the background. It was really, really close back and forth punishers, and I could see plays from where I was. There were some big plays that happened mostly in the second half. The picks were pretty big, and Danny was really like he was cold to end the season. He started off really strong, and he wasn't able to find his groove come playoff time. It was a big, I think a big letdown because Punishers, I think, were the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
But they kind of fell short. The Southsiders really came together like to end the season. They were really well rounded in this first game because I'm sure they want to take away Mo. Mo only had 2 catches for 29 yards. He led the league in receiving yards the whole year. He is crazy fast. He rushes and he's like averages 17 yards a catch, something crazy like that. But yeah, team effort in the first game for sure. And second half, they kind of, you could hear that every single play was big for them. You could hear them from the other side of the field.
And now talk to us about the game you did ref, Red Knots against Spartans. I gotta say, I was a little surprised. I was expecting Red Knots back-to-back Brossard champions to win this one.
Yeah.
Looks like Avery had a very clean game.
Clean game. In Div 1, there wasn't much chirping. They were just it was a clean game. Everything was smooth. This was back and forth, and then the second half, Chad threw a pick or two he wishes he had back. But they were really crazy picks. I know Red Knot Skins had the ball with at the end of the game with about a minute or so left, and Avery, like, he shot across the field for like a toe tap sideline pick when they could have scored in the last under a minute left. That was huge. Avery in this game was enormous. He kept hitting. He would roll out and he'd hit a sideline like 25-yard catch a bunch. That happened a lot. He bought time with his legs. The rush really had nothing, to do against him. He bought as much time as he needed, found his guys. His receivers were sure-handed. Jacob Cartwright, he had a huge touchdown down the sideline towards the end of the game. He just beat Riley on, I think it was either a go or a corner, and sideline catch, just kept himself in bounds at the 2-yard, and then he kind of walked in. Huge play. The Spartans are really also emotional, so they play off of huge plays like this. Their defense stepped up right after, and it was a clean game. And I thought the Red Dot Skins would win. They've been consistent all year. Chad's got a great arm. They have Craig, Riley on offense, and their defense is really strong. So, but give it to Spartans. They were incredible in this game.
Yeah, Avery's stats just look phenomenal. And one thing that I don't think I mean, we say it, but I don't think we say it enough is how important converts are. You look at
Yeah,
this game, Red Knotskins had the ball at the end of the game, down 11. The game's pretty much over, right? Because they don't have enough time to score twice. But that's only because of the converts. Avery had the Spartans only scored one more touchdown than Red Knotskins did, but that 5 more points through converts. If Red Knotskins had converted at least four, not even four, just 3 convert points, or had held Spartans to 3 fewer convert points, they're driving at the end of the game with a chance to tie the game, right? And those 5 points just swung the game into like a 2 possession lead for Spartans at the end. It's the inefficient offensive convert points, but also the not so great defensive convert points that the Red Knotskins gave up that I think maybe dug themselves into this hole.
yeah, 5 out of 6 is huge, especially in the higher divisions. Teams usually score, so the converse really decide the game. Honestly, it couldn't have been a better game for Avery. It's the best I've seen him play. And
Injured at all? No limps or anything like that.
He was limping the last 3 weeks, but this was the least like injured I've seen him. He looked pretty fast.
Nice. So that set up a Spartan Southsiders finals in Brossard Division 1.
What a game.
I looked at the score at one point, and they were up 10 points. With under 10 minutes to go. I'm like, wow, Spartans are going to be your Brossard Division 1 champions. Then I refreshed the page a few seconds later, and I saw that Southsiders won the game, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, this was one of the craziest games I've seen in MFL history. I think the finals in D1 Montreal the last few seasons have been the only things that are close to this one. It was back and forth to start. Guillaume hit Mo early, and they scored on the first drive. It was a 33-yard bomb down the sideline, and the whole team erupted like they were just so into it, so focused. And then right after that, Avery 42 yards to Simon. You hear the cheers back the other way. It was immediately fireworks, then punt, interception, fireworks kind of cooled down. It was back and forth. A lot of picks. The next, like I said, 8 drives. I think 7 of the next 10 drives were picks. So that was kind of huge. There was one. The main thing is there was one point. It was 25-15, like you said, and they had the ball. So Spartans had the ball, and they wasted like 6 minutes, something like that. And I'm like, I was talking to Steve. We're moving the bags. Like, this could be over. They get a stop, and they get quick scores. There was one pick in the second half at the start by Matt Konecki, one-handed in the red zone. A red zone stop. It was one-handed, kind of like this, kind of deflated the Spartans, but it was nuts. The second half, there was a lot of muff snaps from the snapper Adam Makape, and you could see that Southsiders really kind of lost their steam. They were really kind of in despair at the time. And then Guillaume threw the game-winning touchdown pass to Adam. He trusted him even if the muff snaps, even though they were drawing at each other. He hits him with 29 seconds down the field, and the team was like, I've never seen a team more happy in my life than this Southsiders team. I think no one
that caught that 15-yard touchdown and the 20-yard touchdown over here.
That's impressive.
What route was he running to make a snap for?
So he caught the first one. He caught on the right side of the field. So I think he either cornered or did a wheel down the right side. And the second one to win the game was on the opposite side, right in front of Kevin. It was sideline, right in front of the defender, toe tapped, 3 steps, walked in, and it was like there was so much noise. They also had a lot of fans, which was really cool. Friends, family were there, and they gave him
snapper being a deep threat like that, eh?
Yeah, I mean the snapper. I mean, I snap now and not before, but snapper, people forget about the snapper all the time.
I feel Spartans did like a pretty good job here, wasting 8 minutes off the clock. And it was literally Avery run, Avery pass, Avery run, Avery pass, Avery run, Avery pass. Like it was literally, we're not going to make the mistake. We're not going to throw a pick. The one question I have here is why punt with 2 minutes to go, down four? I could understand it, but I think the perspective that like where were they about on the field? They're about midfield at this point. I know it was 4th and 15 because of the false start. Was it a
Yeah,
double?
no, they were on their. They're maybe 5 yards from the half, still on their side of the field, and their defense have been playing well. I think they had 3 or 4 picks already during the game. But football, down 20, down 10, down 30, anything could happen. I mean,
Yeah. My
the eight.
perspective on this is that I would tend to go for it based on the reason that if you don't get it and you give the other team the short field, you'll have plenty of time if they score to get the ball back and score again. Whereas now they got the ball back with fewer than half a minute to go, right? Like the result was the same, that they still got scored on. But at least here with 2 minutes left, if you do end up getting scored on, you'll have more time to try to win it afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, there's different philosophies. Um, I'm aggressive. I'm going for it. 4th and 25. I'm going for it regardless. But I mean, I come from a different like cloth. I want to go for everything, and I could throw the whole field, so it doesn't matter as much. But they are trusting their defense. I think the whole team agreed on this one. There was no wavering, and they were honestly. I don't think it was a wrong call. They're at maybe the 18 on their side of the field. Tough call, but it was more the magic from Guillaume on the next play. 5 straight passes, touchdown. Only completions on this next drive. It was beautiful. They didn't waver, and Marapet had 3 of those 5 catches. He really struggled in the first half, but in the second half he came alive, and I mean now
And
they're on.
Spartans still had a chance. Like they had quite a few plays. I'm guessing it's not all their timeouts there.
Yeah.
Advanced the ball just past midfield.
They got it to about just past midfield, but they had a drop.
Oh no!
At the start, the first pass or the second pass. The first 2 passes were drops. It was drop, and then it was catch, but toe on the line, so it's not a catch. So that's about 15, 20 yards of lost, I guess, space. They could have had a better chance at it, but they had a 20-yard lob that was just knocked down.
Yeah. So Southsiders are the champions of the South.
Sounds exciting.
Well, just to look at the 2 teams in this final, Southsiders, a new team in Brossard. They played in Winter Division 2, I think. Spartans coming up from Brossard Division 2. Both teams, Spartans had a great regular season. Southsiders had a great end to the regular season. Look, Punishers were a Division 2 team last year to start the season as well. And you had teams like Red Knot Skins and Old School in this division who have won multiple championships in their MFL history, right? So to see that the finals didn't include neither of them just goes to show that it's reassuring for these other teams, right? Like we had Banana Blitz this year who barely won any games and had a decent Division 2 season. Impact, who I think were below 500 last season, and now they're the Division 2 champions. So when you have the same group of guys, you play a couple of seasons together, like sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, I think some of them are going to play Saturday League next season too. Some of them, I think only Guillaume plays, but the other ones they want to try as well.
Nice.
It's all about chemistry. Once you build that chemistry up, it's you could have not the best team on paper, but once you build the repertoire with your quarterback, with your other receivers, that's huge.
Yeah. Move on, Laval.
Let's go.
Speaking of chemistry, those villains have been playing together for quite some time now, being your first ever Laval champions. So we had a few blowouts in the quarterfinal round. Even though Panthers V2 had the finished at the 3 seed with I think a 7-3 record, Bandits just squeezed into the playoffs with a 6 seed. It was very, very one-sided here. Quarterback change for Bandits. They decided to go with the experienced fine wine Rob White. at quarterback, leaving Frankie Danny at the wide receiver position. I kind of questioned the decision when I saw them warming up, but I didn't ref this game. I was on the other game, but I saw a few of Frankie's catches, notably his touchdown. I'm like, wow, okay, this guy has hands, he has speed. It makes a lot of sense to have him as a weapon there. Clearly, like Rob's number one target, but he distributed the ball really well here. And Panthers, who had the best defense in the whole division, kind of got handed to them over here, right? I didn't see much more of this game to comment on it, but it was clearly one-sided from beginning to end.
Frankie's quite the athlete, right? Like you said, can play quarterback, wide receiver, also on the defensive end, right, making plays for them as well. It's I saw this game was a bit surprising, but talk about controversy, right? You know, going with a different quarterback after having clinched a playoff spot. We talked about experience, right, in the Montreal League too, and Rob has that as experience, and it proved like costly for Panthers in this one for sure.
Mm. I mean, for a free agent team that no one on this team knew each other coming into, well, I mean, there were a few duos that came in together that signed up as together on this free agent team, but like never had really played all together. I think it was a successful season, even though it was a pretty bad outing for them in the playoffs here, not having scored any points. But the season as a whole, I say would be a success for them. And then High on Audibles, Galactic Fun. This is the game I was there. Like it was, look, Matt Demer's stat line isn't that impressive, but not all of it was on him. There were a few drops, a few, I think, routes that were not properly understood. And this game was high on audibles from beginning to end. Mathieu Gaton played great in this game. Their defense played great, very good complementary football. I think it took quite some time for Galactic Fun to score their first points, a 27-0 lead. High Audibles had all that momentum, and then they just came out flat against Villains in the semifinal. In the semifinal game, well, I mean, they came out flat. They did score the first points, but after that, it was all Villains all the way. High Audibles shows some hope scoring on the last play of the half, but then they didn't really do much in the second half at all. Jeremy had his way, Sam being his main target, and Jeremy Ertz at the snapper position. Mathieu Gaton's got through some picks that I'm sure he would have liked back. On one of them, he just didn't see Jeremy Ertz pop out of nowhere. Same with Francesco's pick, made a huge play on it. And yeah, and then on the other side of things, D Nasty against Bandits. This must have been the closest game of the day. I was refereeing the High and Audibles Villains game, and I was wondering the whole time who was winning this game because I was just hearing cheers from both sides, and both teams had quite a few fans watching the game, and I feel it was like such a back and forth game. You could see it here. It was touchdown, going both ways. 20-19 lead at the half. Then same thing in the second half, back to back. Kevin Marion getting that touchdown run late to take the 4-point lead, finding Sébastien Béchard at the back of the end zone for the 2 points. And then Bandits marched the field, man. They marched the field down 6. And on the last play, it looks like there was a collision between two of the receivers, or I don't know if they run the right route or not. And the ball went incomplete, and that ended their season.
Talk about a crazy game, right? 39-33. Rob White throwing the extra touchdown pass, but still losing the game, right? The pick six being probably the TSN turning point of the game. Sébastien Béchard got 2 picks on the day. It's huge, right? It's like Max was saying earlier, you're gonna have a lot of scores, and usually it comes down to converse. But when you're able to get 2 picks, it's just great for your team and your defense for sure. And it's not easy to pick off Rob either. He knows what guys are usually doing. He knows to take the check down if it's not there. So good job by Béchard.
Still looks like a great decision. Looking at Frankie's stat line, 10 for 100 yards, 1 touchdown. It's pretty intense for a guy that played quarterback all season for this team.
Yeah, Rob's a veteran though. He's played kind of every division. He's played many years. Yeah, so I mean, he helped them. The number 1 team almost beat them last play. give kudos to them, but I mean, Dynasty with big win.
Yeah, and then kind of as if they left all that in the semifinals here. Talk about a chirpy game. You spoke about that Brossard Division Two semifinal. I think this one was one of the chirpiest games I've been involved in since I've been in the MFL. Will was there to attest to that. He showed up to watch the first ever Laval finals.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna ask if you showed up. You said you were going to the field.
I showed up late, but I did show up nonetheless.
Shocker.
yeah, I was shocked too. Thankfully, he didn't understand all of it because it was mostly in French. But look, Villains took that early lead, 14 to nothing. And it looked like it was going to be very one-sided. After that, Jeremy threw a pick that he would have liked back late in that first half. After Dynasty made the decision to punt it here down 14 with a minute to go, they knew they were getting the ball back in the second half. Jeremy throws that pick, and then they get on the board with a touchdown. And they get the 1 point convert to make it a very manageable game, getting ball. And then on the very first play, Kevin throws an interception, and then Jeremy finds Jeremy for 2 yards and the touchdown to take a 13-point lead. And then Kevin threw a pick six to Jeremy, and that kind of made it it kind of made it a very one-sided game, and there was not really no looking back. Even though like Dynasty and Kevin did have some nice plays, they scored a few nice touchdowns there. They just dug themselves into a hole that was kind of too deep to get themselves out of at that point.
Yeah, the Villains defense, man, was impressive. Guys were shooting left and right. Like Jeremy Ertz almost having two big sixes, right? One of them being tackled at the one. But Jeremy Thompson O'Reilly's pick was like he shot it like he was playing like a safety position. He shot across the field, and I didn't even really see him. And I was like, obviously, I was watching the game there, and he picked off the ball and then made a few guys miss. I think it was like the youth, the speed from the Villains that kind of gave Kevin and Dynasty a bit of trouble in this game. And Sam Thompson O'Reilly, we talked about it earlier, that connection, that chemistry was huge, and was a few nice plays like you mentioned, Terry, that Dynasty had made, but it was a little bit too little, too late after the Villains kind of poured it on early to start the second half. It was just those first 5-6 minutes of the second half. It was all Villains, and that was a bit too much of a hole to dig out of for Dynasty.
Yeah, and Lucas Guerrero only having one sack in this game, but it's safe to say he really put a lot of pressure and caused some bad throws for Kevin. Lucas probably one of the better rushers in the MFL right now, a new player here, but Kevin really had some hard time with Lucas rushing him. And it's not all on the quarterback or on the offense for Dynasty, right? Like you look at Levelin and Jeremy. He only threw three players all game long. He had Sam as his main guy, his snapper, and then he threw three balls to Lucas for only 19 yards. So I don't know what kind of defensive game plan they had going for them, but clearly it was not enough. Like yes, Kevin threw a few picks and pick sixes that did not help, but Villain still scored 5 touchdowns on offense. And you see like most of the offense went to two guys only. Dynasty definitely had the players to limit that offense. So I don't know if it had to do with the game plan that they came in with it. I know that the last time these two teams played, it was a 46-40 final score for Dynasty. So they obviously knew it was going to be high scoring. They needed their defense to step up. And it just wasn't the case in this game. Like I truly think that if these two teams play 10 games, it's going to come down to like a 5-5 split, a 6-4 split maybe. But the way that these two teams played on Sunday, Villains would have won the next 10 over there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the play-by-play, and the start of the second half, the first 3 minutes is insane. You have Dynasty with the ball, first play, pick, touchdown for the Villains. Pick six, then you're down 20 points in like 3 minutes. That's like really tough.
I'd like to add that on this rush interference call right here, it was actually a completion for about 20 yards downfield that Dynasty completed. Kevin took the snap, rolled out. The rusher was coming from the opposite side. Snapper got it in the way. They completed a 20-yard bomb. Only down 13 at that point, and then on the very next play, after being backed up 5, pick six. So like it was a huge swing in momentum right there. But yeah, definitely like down 7 points to start the half with the ball. in your mind, it's essentially a tie game, right? You have that extra possession there, and then 3 minutes later, you're down like 20 points. You're like, what the hell just happened? Like, like literally, what happened in those 3 minutes? It really felt like that. Yeah.
It was complementary football, right? Like you said, Terry, the offense making plays too, only passing those three guys, but the defense really starting it off. And it just like there didn't seem to be many guys open for Dynasty, and not to put it all on Kevin, right? I think it was just the villains guys making plays on defense, right? Shooting gaps. It looked like they were not in a base defense, like they seemed to be switching things up. I'm not sure if they played much man, but it just didn't seem like they were giving them the same look, and that gave them problems.
Obviously, Jeremy was buying time with his legs, so that helped. But yeah, Lévigny, your first ever MFL Laval champions, got a brand new trophy to insert their names on it for the first insert there. So that's going to be there for forever now. And very exciting with this first MFL Laval season. Hopefully, we get a few more teams and two divisions going next spring. Yeah.
12 teams for a first time is really, really amazing. I think it's more than the total amount of Brossard teams.
There were 10 teams. There were 10 total.
It's so similar.
11 in Brossard, yeah. And yeah, as we were saying, 10 teams this season, especially the idea to launch MFL Laval only came during the summer, and we kind of gave 1 month notice. Didn't really do any ads or publicity for that, so I'm pretty excited to see what the future holds in Laval now that the word got out. And yeah, like Will, you came over, you saw the field conditions are quite different than the ones in Montreal. For now, we'll say.
Beautiful, no, really beautiful field. It was really impressed. It's a really nice field, kind of cozy. They're locked in, able to have two fields there. I liked it.
Yeah. So
But good
congrats.
stuff. Good stuff, Terry. For real, that's great. Great on you. You don't get to talk about it too much because you're the one that founded the league. But it was great. Honestly, I only heard good things about it. To have 10 teams, like Max was saying, was phenomenal. It seemed to be good parity and a really good, great first season. So great job.
Yeah, thanks. And congrats to Villains, first ever champs, and also Samuel Thompson O'Reilly for the MVP, first ever MFL Laval playoff MVP. We discussed and we were trying to see if anyone had a knife to cut the trophy into three because it could have really went to anyone between Jeremy Thompson O'Reilly, Samuel Thompson O'Reilly, or Jeremy Ertz. Like literally all three of them had a crazy impact in this game. Finally, we felt that Sam was the most deserving, and congratulations to him. What division would you gentlemen like to go to next? Got 6 more to go. Semifinals in all of them.
Take your pick.
Let's go Div 4.
Yeah.
Let's go Div 4.
So in Division 4, the top 2 seeds had a bye. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, the top seeds had a bye in Witching Hour and Blue Badgers. We had Hawks Action Squad, Flat Players, Slot Machine. We'll start with Flat Players, Slot Machine. I was on that game. Slot Machine, your Division 5 undefeated champs from the spring, right? Don't we rarely see a team go undefeated and win the championship on top of that? They had great play all season long, both sides of the ball. And literally, this felt like a Division 1 game. It was score for score. When do you see like a almost 90-point game in Division 4? Like I don't know if this might be one of the highest scoring Division 4 games ever.
50 points is crazy for a not Division 1 game.
Yeah, and it was score for score. There was one play where Slot Machine didn't score early on, and then Flat Players took the 2-score lead at that point, and then they never looked back. Right, Sean Kennedy definitely being the main guy here for Leon Holder. You look at the stat line: 22 of 33, almost 300 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's crazy for Division 4 play. Sean, 11 for a $121, 3 touchdowns. You had Vincent Martel with 3 touchdowns, also going over 100 yards. Look, Slot Machine had Giovanni and Eric in this one. Great stats as well. Giovanni did a lot of damage on the ground, scoring 2 touchdowns, I believe, of like almost 30 yards each one, rushing for over 100 yards, really trying to carry the team on his back here. Look, I know this is a big roster, and you want everyone to play, but I found that Giovanni was off the field way too much on defense. Yes, I get he's the quarterback and all that, but earlier in the day, Will and I played against him in Division 2, and he had 2 insane interceptions. Definitely a player that could play Division One and be in the rotation. So to have him off the field in a game where the opposing team scored 50 points, that's a decision I question. I get the parity and I get the wanting everyone to play equal and all that, but it's the playoffs now, right? It's no longer Division Five either. You want your best players on the field at least for the most amount of time, unless it was a decision that he made, being the quarterback, wanting to think about his plays, but didn't look like he needed to do much thinking because he also scored 39 points. But FAT players, being the sixth seed coming into this one, scoring 50, witching hours should be a little bit stressed.
Yeah, I mean, Leon's played for a while. Like he has an arm. He's not always the most accurate, but when he's on, he's on. I was refereeing the other game, and I just kept seeing like down the sideline catches to Sean and Vince for touchdowns, and just like everyone was erupting. But yeah, they couldn't beat anyone any day.
Yeah, this game felt like it was like 5 games in one, where you look at the stats, like how many rushing yards Giovanni got, how many passing yards Leon got, and then how many catches Eric got with 10, how many catches Sean got with 11. It was like this was like stat galore, right? The stat sheet was filled in this game, and it was kind of the game. I think Terry and I, we talked about it with Terry. We kind of expected this game, a higher scoring, maybe even like a one possession game. But it was I had to check my phone to see to see who was winning because I couldn't tell. Right, one team was going bananas, another team went bananas, and it was just the FAT players coming up clutch when when the time they converted, I believe, a few times on third and fourth down. In the second half, which was big for them, and this was a really good. Didn't feel like a Div 4 game at all, to say the least.
Yeah, and then towards the end of the game, less than a minute left, it wasn't over, right? Like you said, fourth down conversion there. If FAT players don't get that one, slot machine only down 5 with ball, right? And a chance to win the game.
Clutch.
This one surprised me. Not the given who won the game because I predicted Action Squad to win. I think Will, you had chosen Hawks in this one, but more of the score line. Like we know that Action Squad are good, but they're goals with 7 touchdowns. Like Action Squad kind of control the pace of the game and slow it down. And I wouldn't have thought they'd have as many possessions to score that many points.
They dominated this game from start to finish. I was
Yeah,
watching this game. It was Hawks just couldn't get anything going offensively, and Thomas got sacked a few times. Threw a few picks he would want back. It was close. It was 13-13, but it just kind of felt in favor of Action Squad, and the Action Squad went on a complete tear. Golger just looked really comfortable in the pocket. Justin White and Michael Halevy each having three TDs in this game. Where they were two partners in crime there for Noel at the quarterback position, and yeah, defensively for Action Squad, they were quick. We talked about villain shooting gaps. Action Squad was shooting gaps left and right, able to pick off Thomas 3 times. Like you said, Terry, I picked Hawks to win this game. I thought it was going to be a close game, but I was oh so wrong in this one. Action Squad dominated.
yeah. I ref this game, and back and forth in the first half. But I want to shout out Sandrine Jamal. She was rushing, and I'm not sure if everyone knows who Thomas is, but he's got wheels. Like he can really move. I think she sacked him one drive multiple times, and she had like a tip into a pick.
She got picked as a rusher.
Yeah, she was. It was the most insane performance from a rusher in the lower divisions that I've seen in my life, especially like with the difference in. Well, Thomas is just he can run as fast as most of the D1 guys, for faster than me for sure. And her positioning was amazing because the speed difference, but she was stopping in the right spots. She was getting her feet set so she could shoot to the side when he would roll out, made him make off balance throws. It was like the strongest performance I've seen, almost like when I rushed you, Will, in the semifinals that one time last season.
Shoot, I was hoping we wouldn't mention that.
I have to plug it in there.
Yeah, props to her.
4 sacks and a pick. That's impressive in one game.
Yeah, Thomas led the league in rushing. He had like 400 or 500 yards of rushing. I think almost 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, like 40 yards a game, and really got it. She really did.
I think she was the player of the week in Division 4. But yeah, getting a pick as a rusher is literally every rusher's dream right there. Not only to get the sack or a bat down, but you literally take a possession away from the opposing team, like doing it literally on your own. Very impressive by
Yeah,
something.
yeah. And Gold's not always throwing darts, but he was throwing darts yesterday or on Saturday, and perfect accuracy. It was great.
We're going to talk about that in Division 5 as well because the same thing was happening for him on Jungle Squad. I'm used to seeing Gold only throw these underhand passes or shuffle passes and stuff like that, but he was throwing full on like bombs. I was on his Division 5 game, but yeah, so no, that sets up things with Witching Hour, FAT players, Blue Badgers Action Squad, semifinals. Do any of these underdogs have a shot? And if so, which one has the bigger one?
I've never seen Witching Hour play, so I don't know for sure, but I don't think there's anyone thinking that FAT can't win. What does FAT stand for? Can we say? Is it something you can say on the
Yeah,
game?
I actually asked them when they registered because I was wondering if it was actually for like it couldn't have been for actual fat players like in obese because they sent it with a dot after each one.
Yeah.
And this is the team that used to be called Système Urbain. So the majority of these players work together. So the
Okay.
FAT is a French acronym that stands for Footballeur au Travail.
Okay. There you go. There's the lore for anyone who was wondering, like me.
Yeah, but I think it's also the play on words with fat players since I mean at least in that quarterfinal game against Salt Machine, they were reminding the other team how much older they were than them. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, these two teams faced off once earlier in the season, very early in the season. It was a pretty low scoring game, especially by witching hours standards at that point. FAT did not already have Leon at the quarterback, so Sean was the quarterback at that point. Look, they did hold Matsu Tesi to 50% completion, only 117 yards. So they were doing something right defensively over here, right? Now you add in that offensive aspect to their game where they're scoring 50 points against a team like Slot Machine. It's definitely going to be a close game.
Yeah, I think that FAT has of the two underdogs probably has a bit of a better shot to pull off the upset, even though Witching Hour is undefeated. I expect a much more high scoring game than when they first played each other. Like you said, Leon wasn't there, and I think Witching Hour has only been putting up a bunch more points on offense, averaging almost 37 a game, which is incredible for any division, let alone Div 4. Oh man, this is a tough one to predict. I'm gonna go Witching Hour in a very close game. I'm gonna go 36-34 Witching Hour. They get the ball back with just under 2 minutes, down by 4, and they end up getting the game-winning touchdown, and they win the game by 2. Really close one. Witching Hour get it done.
I'm going to take the underdogs on both games, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think the week off, you're 5% rusty is going to be the difference. It's going to be like a one-score game, 2-3 points. Both teams scored 47 and 50 points. They're rolling. I wouldn't be surprised if the action squad practiced this week. Gold's leading them at the park there.
Probably as we speak.
Yeah, it could be today. But I'm gonna underdogs. But it's 51-49. Either way, probably.
Look, looking at the standings here, it's insane that these teams are playing in the semifinals, and Witching Hour had literally double the amount of victories that FAT players had. They had 10 wins, FAT had 5. Literally, that's a pretty crazy stat that jumps to my eyes. I'm going Witching Hour by 1 point on a convert. That's when they score on that last touchdown to tie it up on the last play. I think it's gonna be that close.
We got Terry Action Squad or Blue Badgers. I'm still kind of debating, but I think I know who I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I'm going Blue Badgers in this one. Just feeling tells me Blue Badgers.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think that defense gets a stop or two late in the game to seal it. I'm gonna go 27-20 Blue Badgers in this one. But we say it every week. I really do think the underdogs have a shot in both these games. Like Max, if Max is right and both Action Squad and FAT players win, I really wouldn't be all that surprised.
No, me neither. All right, what division's next? Will you decide?
Yeah, okay, let's go Div 1.
So Division One, the much awaited game between A-Team Iron Wolves. Wait, Max, since you said earlier that having a bye is 5% rust, does that mean Outlaws are going to have about 20% rust into the final since they have like 4 byes in a row?
Yeah, well, Steve throws like 4 games a week anyway, so he won't be rusty. So I think we're good.
That's true.
I would, I'm not for sure, but I doubt Blue Badgers or Wishing Hour also play other leagues, but it's possible. And if not, then I'm gonna be wrong. But who knows?
So A-Team Iron Wolves, this is going to be a very exciting semifinal. Over here, they faced off. You guys played twice in the regular season, splitting, right? A-Team winning the first one 32-20. And then you guys coming out on top 47-38. We know there's going to be points in this one, right? Is it going to be the first quarterback to make a mistake?
I hope not. I want pressure's off. I think it's going to come down to conference, honestly. I know it's the cliche in Division One, but
Yeah,
we split and we're fairly evenly matched.
I think it's gonna come down to one defensive player shoots a ball that they've been feeling it the whole game. They shoot one and it's gonna go the other way. Div one, this game's gonna be like 40-45, something like that at least. And anything could happen. Both teams are great. It's Will versus Dave, who can make less mistakes. I think the picks are going to be a big deal. I think Will, it's on you now. If you want one of these, it's on you.
And I love you guys. I mean, both of you saw the championship shirts that were given out in Brossard and Laval. They're pretty nice.
They're gold. Yeah. They're really nice. They're really nice.
Yeah. Is there a team, Max, you prefer to play or not play in the finals, or for you, either one of these teams, you're confident afterwards?
I mean, we played against both these teams for like years. I don't think it's going to be a big deal either one we face. I'm not worried about the matchup. Everyone knows everybody's plays. Both, like, everyone knows our plays or Will's or Dave's plays. They're all the same. It's really just how crisp can you throw the ball? Can you make the least mistakes, and can you convert? I mean, I don't have any say in this game, so I can predict for you if you want, but I just think that Dave's gonna make one more mistake. I don't know why. I think this season they've been streaky, on and off. We'll see how it goes. Their defense is great. Iron Wolves. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Coin flip. I mean,
I think one thing we didn't address is the composure of both teams in this one, right? Probably two of the most fiery teams in the division. To maybe a bit towards the opponent, but also amongst themselves. It could get heated within the team, right? And I'm gonna say both quarterbacks throw one interception in this one. The difference is when your quarterback throws an interception and you're giving the quarterback shit instead of focusing on the next drive on defense, it's much harder to get that interception back. So the team that's going to be able to hold their composure the most and play as a unit in the highs and in the lows, because we've seen both these teams do it, and we've seen both these teams do the opposite, right? You could transform that intensity into good sportsmanship and good play, and it can only be beneficial to you, right? Like, someone's bound to make a mistake in this game, but it should not be the end of the game, right? You got to play complementary football. Both these teams have great offenses. They both have great defenses. I think if one, keeping your composure will ensure that the other unit could bail out the unit that makes a mistake, right? You could throw a pick, you get scored on a blown coverage. Both those things could happen. It's up to the other unit to come out, keep their heads up, and play good football and get either the ball back or score a touchdown. And I think that's going to be the important factor in this game, to see which one of these two teams is going to hold their own throughout the entirety of the game, right? These MFL games are long, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The long 75-minute games, football is long, and one play can change the entire game. A safety, a pick, a deflection here or there, a little tip that just slows the ball down so someone can get their hands on it. It's nuts. Football's crazy. It's the sport that can change the fastest, I think, with a play or two here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if both teams are a little bit nervous for the first half. Pick each and by each quarterback in each half, and then who can convert the most. That's really what it's going to be going for two.
Yeah, both these teams have a lot of success with converts, so it's going to be super important to see
Yeah.
which team capitalizes most.
I want to see all the smoke on the field. All these players have seen each other so many times. It's going to be chirpy. Let them talk as long as they're respectful about it. And then in the final, same thing. Let's see each other. I think if Will wins, he's going to want to like throw it right by my head for a touchdown on every play. You know.
Yeah, and
that's for sure. It's going to be yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about high scoring in Division One. Like Arnos have the best defense in the division, and they're averaging 29 points against the game. Pretty crazy, right? So like the best defense is giving up 30 points. So like I see both these teams scoring over 40 in this one, and it's really going to come down to the end. Like either who had the ball last, who scored more converts. It's going to be exciting. This could have been a D1 final, right? We've seen. No, I mean we've seen both these teams in the finals very recently. Arnos were in the final. Just as recently as this spring, and then 18 were your champions last fall, right? So,
shoot that.
You make picks, Willie?
Let's go Div 5.
You don't want to make your picks?
Oh, my picks. Oh, sorry. I thought you said next. No, I can't. I can't make a pick. I predict a close game, and I'll predict an overtime game too. Actually, I think we're that evenly matched.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I'm bidding an overtime game.
I'm going. Something's telling me I'm going 18 in this one. I like you, Willie, but I just think that I think with the week off and everything, they come out. They have a strong game plan. They played you twice in the season. You guys played against her as recently as 2 weeks ago. I think maybe they didn't show all their cards in that game, and they're going to be locked in. They're going to be focused. And we're gonna see if they get all their guys. They brought the boys back, right? They got the band back in town with Jeremy Ashton.
That's a good point because their team has been inconsistent showing up. All their players, though, that's the only thing. So if their full team's there, I think it'll be really close. If the full team is not there, there's a chance that it's not as close as we think. I'm gonna pick Iron Wolves 47-46. Like it's toss up. It could be 47-46 the other way.
Yeah.
Will's been playing really well. Every season he gets like 5% better, and that's how you you work your way up. Keep your composure, which I think Iron Wolves will do a better job of. But I mean, there's ballers on both sides of the field. 47-46. Yeah, there you go.
Appreciate that. It's gonna be a fun one.
Division 5, you said?
Yeah, let's go Div 5.
So Division 5 had 4 quarterfinal games here. Let's start with yours, Max. Big Booty Slicks. I was hearing it was 6-0 at halftime. Yeah. Big Booties are doing everything they can to upset the number 1 Slicks in this one. Not an easy task to do. Talk to us about your game.
Yeah, I mean, I put a game plan together against them. Told everyone before, like during the week, what we were doing. Plan was to not let Luca buy time and run because he's really fast. So we switched up rushing a lot. I gave everything I had in this game. I don't think either of you were there for that, but it started off with congratulating them for a great win last week without me there. That kept our season alive. Really proud of our team. They did amazing. We had a chance in this one. We kept it close. We stopped them from scoring. We played great defense. There was one play where Pirat caught like a 7-yard out, I think, and then we missed 2 tackles. I missed one of the 2 tackles, and he ran the field. That was deflating after playing so well for the first like 30 minutes of the game. And then they drove the field. We were up by 1 point. Jorge hit Kayla for a great out. For us to take the lead and the convert, we're up by 1. And they drove the field and scored with like 40 seconds left. Luca found someone in the back corner just behind me because I had 3 guys in the area. And I just made the wrong choice of who to go for. And Luca took advantage of it. it was a great touch pass to the back corner, and then we had not enough time to run the field. We tried our best, but just short. But our spirits are high. This is a team that I love playing with. It's one of my favorite teams. We play with my fiance and some friends.
Pop quiz, really. What's Max's fiance's name?
Sorry?
Pop quiz. What's Max's fiance's name? You met her in person now, so you get.
Yeah, I have. Very, very, very sweet lady. I just will name it for Max. We'll keep it confidential, just so Max doesn't have to worry.
She's on the website. It's not confidential.
That is true.
There's more than one lady on the team, so it could be any of them, right?
Yeah, Barb.
Lucky man.
Yeah, but yeah, great season. We were 2-5, but we were lost all hope. But we won 3 in a row and had some help. And Jorge kept improving, so we're looking forward to the spring season. We're all coming back. But Slicks they're tough. There's the best game we played all year, and we still couldn't pull it off. So Slicks have a good chance.
And it just goes to show, we spoke about how one play could make the difference in these games, right? That one play, like just describing your game, the one play where Pirat had that long touchdown and there were a few missed tackles. Like that's not something that happens every game, right? That's like a routine thing to get done there, and it ends up being like maybe the deciding factor in this game. You guys got to stop there. Who knows what happens? Do they finish the driving the field and still end up scoring with the time remaining and all that? So it really goes to show that everyone got to give their 100% on every play come playoff time, because one small thing can make a big difference.
Yeah. If they still score on that drive, maybe it takes longer, and then there's no time for them to run the field at the end of the game. Every little play kind of changes it, but I just want to point out that Terry gave us no chance to win, and we were this close. We were this close.
You guys were very, very close. You're like I was shocked, and at the same time, I love to see those close games. But the way you guys played, like you said, you played your best game. Slicks maybe think they played the worst game, but it really just showed anyone could beat anyone, right? You guys finished at the 8th seed; they were the 1 seed. You started 2-5. You had you put the string of 3 straight wins to like slide into the playoffs in the 8th seed there, and yeah, excited to see.
Will still doesn't know her name though, so there's that.
I do have to keep it confidential. My sources are.
Yeah.
Let's see if she'll be happy with you next time she sees you, Willie.
I'm gonna change my Div 1 pick to A team. Well, not for you this season, Will.
So I was on this game here, and Will and I spoke about Titans a lot this season, and we were saying how they have Stephen Biddle, who's one of the better snappers in the whole league here. Just throw it to him often, and it doesn't matter for sure. If he's getting 3 yards a pop, you'll get first downs that way. And I believe it was on the second play of the game. First play of the game, and he did exactly that. I'm like, oh, okay, they listen and all that. Second play of the game, I see Robert Thomas unleashing a deep ball. Austin McMahon, 37-yard touchdown. I mean, he throws it. I'm like, oh my God, okay, he did not listen. But yet Austin McMahon over the top touchdown. I'm like, okay, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. But then Jungle Squad got a few stops after that. And like Max mentioned earlier with Action Squad, Jungle Squad, Goldrick, Noel was throwing dimes and darts all over the field. Literally, he was throwing these, like I think, what was his first? That was a 12-yarder. This was a 31-yarder. Then 45-yard touchdown here, 24-yard touchdown. I literally told him after the game, like, I've only seen you throw like underhand. Like usually throw more underhand passes. He's like, I'm being serious. Like most of his passes are literally underhand, and it works for him, right? But not in this game. Like he was showing everyone that like he could throw overhand and throw deep, and they were like nice balls, this nice spiral and everything. Alec Dagenet with 2 touchdowns, Julian with 3 touchdowns. You had everyone contributing here on offense. Francois Perry on defense. Francois getting 2 sacks. Alec and Julian getting a pick apiece. Like this Jungle Squad team was showing why they were the 2 seed, right? Controlling the game offensively, defensively.
Yeah, I think ever since Gold subbed for us and I gave him my playbook for that game, he's throwing darts everywhere. He can't be stopped.
It's good to give him your arm too, then, not just the playbook.
Yeah. No, I can't do that. So, credit to his physical skill. but he practices a lot. I know he takes it really seriously. He loves playing in the MFL, like a lot of us do. And he's reaping the rewards. He's better and better. Like just like I said to Will, Will's getting 5% better every season, and Gold is just these last 2 seasons. He's like 20% better each season. You know, he's really improving, finding the groove. It also helps when you're playing with the same people consistently. You know where they're going to be. But I mean, 6 TDs in D5, which 7 I think it was in D4.
Yeah,
huge weekend for him.
and you're talking about the practicing. Like I saw him do a play on 4th and 1, and you don't do this play if you don't practice. If you're not practicing like a lot with this team, he literally did a behind the back pass. He,
no way.
I swear to God, it looked like a Patrick Mahomes. I wish someone was filming. It looked like he was gonna run. It was 4th and 1, and at the last second, right before he crossed the line of scrimmage, he literally threw it backwards, like his arm going back like this, and he threw the ball like that, like literally behind the back that way to an open receiver, and they got the first down. And like I wasn't sure what I just watched. Like it was crazy. Like it was 4th and 1.
It was like when, like when
out of hand at that point. Like
backwards yesterday over somebody.
Oh yeah,
we never seen it before.
Bananas.
That was insane. But yeah,
yeah.
Gold's also so unpredictable. He'll like look off the field and throw it anywhere. Like you never know what he's doing.
Yeah.
His mind games with the defenders are nuts. And he'll look one way, throw it 45 yards across the field from rolling out. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Really impressed him. I also was on the Phoenix 28-3 game. Phoenix doing what they usually do, losing in the first round. Kevin's never going to get that Division 5 championship, I think. He had a pretty good team in this one, and a lot of head scratch. Like 28-3 played a perfect game offensively, defensively. Even though Nico only has 98 yards, he didn't throw any interceptions. He didn't make any major mistakes there. 23 were punting early in the game when they weren't advancing the ball, not taking any risks, waiting for Phoenix to make their mistakes. Kevin threw 3 picks. The pick 6 to Massimiliano was huge. And look, I think they were just off. Like Kevin was running these plays that were bouncing off his receiver's hands, and I asked the game, I'm like, were you trying new plays? Were you doing anything different? He's like, no, this is like my exact playbook. Like I'm at first I was like, why are you doing these funky plays when like you've never run them before? He's like, no, I literally ran these plays all the time. It's not a new playbook and all that. Yannick had a pretty big impact, catching 12 passes, but there were a few dropsies on key 4th downs there. A few passes that bobbled out of one receiver's hand into the defender's hand. So it's obviously tough at that point. Like Kevin threw 51 passes in this one, but like I don't know if 23 had a game plan going on, but they played solid defense. Like to limit Phoenix and Kevin to only 13 points, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. 28-3 has an incredible defense. We played against them across the board. They have good athletes. You can see Massimiliano with 10 tackles, a pick 6, and a touchdown. That's a strong performance. He led the team. Even though they only had 100 yards of offense, the defense was huge for them. Kevin's a good quarterback. He throws in the higher divisions. But I think a lot of the league is happy he didn't win, right? Wink, wink.
But yeah, good call out there, Max. But pretty incredible. Look at the stats in this game, like how kind of deceiving. If you tell me Nico throws for 98 yards, Kevin throws for $183.
Yeah.
He has more completions than Nico in this one. I was watching this game, and Terry was reffing it too, like he said. But Nico was kind of missing early on, missing guys in the back. Back of the end zone, he seemed to be overthrowing them. But I gotta give credit to him and to the team because they remained calm throughout the whole process. There, it took them a few drives to score. They didn't really seem to get off their game at all. They expected maybe them to struggle a little bit, to rely a little bit more on their defense than their offense. And that's really, I think, like 28-3 won this game is how they usually win games, right? Nico didn't make many mistakes or any mistakes really. They limit their opponent to only 2 touchdowns. And yeah, getting people involved early, right? William 5 catches, Corey 4, and then you have 3 other players with 3 catches. So ball distribution was pretty good for Nico as well.
Yeah. And then Spartans et Las Calls. I think you did that game, right, Max?
Yeah, I reffed this one. This was Chippy.
Chippy, like as in Chirpy?
Chirpy, sorry. Yeah, this was Chirpy. Both teams were really hyper focused on winning. They care a lot. You know, so JF always gives his 100%. He wants everything to go his way, but a couple of key picks by or kind of throws JF wish he kind of didn't throw the couple of maybe routes that were run incorrectly. He could have just held on to it or thrown it away. Those mistakes were the difference. The last call kind of was in control the whole time. Guillaume, 4 touchdowns, no picks, punted when they needed to, played strong defense. He was kind of making sure everyone knew where to be on defense every play. Was calm, cool, and collected. And they didn't need Sebastian to do anything crazy in this one. I think he averages like 90 yards a game, something like that. Like leads the MFL D5 in total yards ever. But they kept him in check on the deep ball, and Guillaume just found his end zone kind of front, not so deep, the front of the end zone a lot on those outs and hooks, and he did what he had to do to carry the ball.
What struck me looking at this score was first I was like impressed with Spartan to see that they were within 5 points, and then I see that GF threw 4 interceptions to Guillaume's 0, and I'm like, wow, like it was a 1-score game at the end of it, and the turnover was
yeah. The score doesn't show the true like closeness of the game. It felt like a bigger gap than 5 points.
Okay.
Sporting scored with about a minute left
at the end, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was flagged right away.
Yeah, I mean, close game, close battle. Spartans too were a team that had a kind of like big booties, struggled early and mid season, and then put a string of a couple of wins together and defied the odds to make the playoffs over there. The last call. So now we got a matchup between the last calls, Jungle Squad 20-3 and Slicks. So yeah, now the final 4 in Division 5 here. We still got the top 2 seeds. Yeah, top 3 seeds actually remain. The only upset was that 20-3 Phoenix one, which is the matchup of 4 and 5, the likeliest one to have been an upset. Who do you guys like? Like who? I really think. Look, 28-3 maybe having the most difficult season or the least impressive one out of the bunch, but I truly think any of these 4 teams could be crowned champions at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2 based on standings, or 2 upsets here. I'm going 28-3, winning in a very low-scoring 13-12 battle. And then I'm going to go last calls, winning a bit more of a high-scoring game. I'm going to go 26-25. So I say it'll be the 3 and the 5 seed in the final. I got 20-3 and last calls punching their ticket this weekend.
This one's tough. I think it could be the year of gold potentially.
You sure played it last week.
It has like the magic in the air a bit.
Gold has 2 semifinals this upcoming Saturday.
Yeah, I think the winner of last call and Jungle Squad is going to win the championship. I wish I was in this matchup, but we know we lost. I think 28-3 and Slicks is going to be very defensive. It depends how 28-3 handles the rush. That's going to be the deciding factor, I think. I think 13-12 for 28-3, and I'm just going to go the opposite of Will on both, I think. And Jungle Squad, the last call, 31-30 in a high-scoring game. Both quarterbacks are very strong.
Gold was telling me, and Matt even told me that I think he has an injury to his throwing hand. Maybe he should probably injure that hand more often, going 13-0, I think, or 13-1 this past weekend. Touchdown interception. I'm agreeing with Max. I'm going Slicks in a very, very tight and low-scoring game here. I think they can have that slow start again, and 28-3 limits their mistakes. But yeah, I don't see either team scoring more than I'd say 3 touchdowns there. And the last call, Jungle Squad, man, this is going to be tough. I could really see it going either way, right? I could see it being very offensive, lots of points scored. I just don't know if Jungle Squad have someone to cover Sebastien. I know it wasn't required of Spartan's last game. Like you said, he didn't even need to do anything extraordinary.
JF was spying him, so he did a good job.
Yeah, I don't know if Jungle Squad have a player like JF on their roster on defense, right? To to cover Sebastien if Guillaume wants to look his way, right? Like I know that their go-to play is literally a straight fly. Sebastian are like kind of like a skinny post there over the top, and Sebastian goes out and gets it. Like you mentioned, most receiving yards all time in Division Five by a wide margin. Um, because of that, I'm leaning towards the last calls, but like that Goldrick magic, like I definitely think. Like I don't think I pick action squad in Division Four, but I'd really be shocked if Goldrick won in one of those two finals. So yeah, tough one.
Should be two great games on two great lads. I think, like you guys said, one of them defensive, really kind of slug it out, old school, the 28-3 Slicks matchup, and the other one maybe a few more bombs over the top. And yeah, it'll be cool, right? Because the games aren't at the same time, so whoever wins that first game, they get to see who they play. They play in the finals right after.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless some of those players are playing because there were quite a few conflicts this
All right, true, true.
Saturday. Yeah. So what division do we have left? We have two, three, and women's.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go, women's.
So women's who had a league-wide bye this past Saturday. We got the two heavyweights going against the two big underdogs in this one, right? I think after like week 2 or 3, we had it circled Steelers, Tigres women's finals. Um, Fast forward a few weeks, DS Drapeau, Majestic Divas have the opportunity to show that we could be wrong in that, right? Both these teams won 5 games, right? So it's nothing to ignore there. Tigres only lost to Steelers, so Majestic Divas and DS Drapeau both haven't won against one of those two teams. We spoke about it a little bit earlier last week, Willie, but and Max, I'd like your opinion. If you could see an upset, like I know it's, I don't know if you're believing it, but if an upset were to happen in this division, who had the most chances?
I think if there were to be an upset, I think the Drapeau would be the one. They have the talent to make some noise. I refed their game, I think 3 weeks ago. They're the most like happy, fun group of players I've seen probably in MFL history. They're making jokes. Even the game's like 1 point, and they're like making jokes on the sideline with their friends and fans and each other. They're happy. They're trying to like get me to laugh on the sideline. Um, but they have a good quarterback. Vivianne's able to cut um, a lot of routes on defense too. She's a great both two-way player. Um, there might be some magic there. I don't see an upset happening, but if I were to pick between the Divas or Drapeau, I would pick Drapeau with the higher chance to upset.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with Max on that one.
yeah, I see that too, and like we see that very like happiness and like great overall sportsmanship and play by DS Drapeau. If they could be maybe a touch more locked in and seriousness when they might have the chance, but also for Majestic Divas. Look, a lot of the girls played on what was the team name last spring? Drama Queens, and they played against Tigres in the semifinals there, and it was very, very one-sided. They have a chance to have that rematch now, and I don't know if they've ever beaten Tigres. I mean, they definitely didn't this season. I don't think they did last season either. But they cannot come into this game. I know we're not really helping the story play out the way we're not really giving none of these teams a chance, but they got to come into it with the confidence that they could pull it off, right? We saw Tigres show up really flat and have a horrible game against Steelers earlier in the season. If Majestic Divas keep things simple, get those easy completions, even if it's just those slant outs from the snapper underneath, 2-3 yards, just trying not to throw interceptions, trying not to make any mistakes, and hang into the game, right? Both for Majestic Divas and DS Drapeau, as long as the game goes, like the more and more time goes by where the game is close or within one possession, that's to your advantage, because that's when Steelers and Tigres are going to start stressing. They're going to expect to be up multiple scores at halftime. If it's a one-score game at halftime, you'd be in a great position and have a chance to capitalize on a mistake here and there. But unfortunately, I don't think that's very likely to happen. But it would be a great storyline, right? And we've seen crazy, crazy things happen in the MFL before, so it's not a 0% either.
If they keep the possessions limited, so nice short, long drive, like short plays, long drives, you limit the amount of possessions. If you both score on 2 out of 4 possessions, it comes down to converts. It's a tactic that a lot of teams use in basketball to slow down the game. No running, use the shot clock. You limit the amount of possessions if you're the underdog, and you have a better chance. And anything can happen. Football is insane, like I said before.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to both underdogs are gonna have to start off fast. That's kind of the one thing I'll always say once you're underdogs, put the pressure right away on the favorites. Go up 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. Do what you have to do. That first possession of the game is so crucial.
Yeah, exactly. We know the both are going to probably start on offense here.
Mm.
2 or 3?
Let's go 2.
So we had 3 super tight Division 2 games to start off the day last Saturday. 36-33, 18, 25-18, and then 39-38. Let's start with our game, Willie, against the Rejects. Like I said last week, we finished second in the standings. Our reward was to face off against a team that shot a 50 burger on us during the regular season. This game had a lot of emotion. Back and forth game. Took quite some time to get the first points on the board after I think a turnover on downs, and then a huge interception by Yavar. This game was like back and forth. We were down 9 at one point. We were up 9 at one point. Both those points happened in the second half. Yeah.
Yeah, it was talking about a game. Max, you like basketball. It's all about a game of runs, and that's what this game was, like, a game of runs. Like Terry said, we were up 9 and down 9. I think it was they scored. I think it was 18 straight points. Rejects at one point, I believe they scored. And we ended up just fourth down plays. We had 3 huge fourth down plays. Terry buying time, one of them to Ryan for a touchdown, one of them to Victor for a touchdown, and then Max sure-handed Sidori making a big catch on fourth down, and I believe it was like 4th and 10 plus. So it was both teams, played a really good game. And Terry, like you said, who deserved to win this game? You could almost make the case Rejects did because they played that good of a game.
We were down 9, and I was asking myself, like, if I lose this game, like, I couldn't have said I deserve it. If I said if somehow we come back and the defense steps up or we do something and win this game, like, it's gonna be I'd consider myself lucky. Like, just at the end of the game there, like, Ryan Dobbs threw 3 literally dimes to his receiver streaking through down the sideline, and the 2 of them were dropped. Like, he couldn't have thrown a better ball there. You see Alex Lipinski having almost as many receiving yards as I had passing yards in the whole game, right? Over there, like, our leading receiver had 41 yards. It was you, Willie, and only 4 catches. But we had huge defensive play when it mattered. Like, I know we gave up 33 points, and you think it wasn't really the defense, but our defense really clutched up when it mattered. Interception by Remy, Yavar, and yourself in the red zone. You can see we were down 9 points with almost midway through the second half there, and we scored 3 unanswered. So we had quite a few stops in between those drives to let us score those points and take the lead. And then I never thought I'd ever say we would do this. I think there were just over a minute left in the game. We were faced with 4th and 4 on our own 9-yard line, and we decided to punt, trust the defense, and it paid off, right? We get that first down, that 4th down, that the game's over, right? Instead, we punted it, and the defense came through to propel us to semifinals.
Something that stands out for me, because I didn't see much of this game. I remember seeing Will on the last play of the game, like, dive to break up the ball. So kudos, Will. That's the only play I caught. But Terry, you won the game and you completed under 50% of your passes. Yeah.
A lot of those throws came to 4th down, like Willie said. Like, it was like a lot of 3rd and 4th and longs, and we just clutched up and made some plays. Like, I was buying time. The rusher, like, I didn't have 8 attempts for 5 yards. Like, I got sacked quite a few times. Jean-Sebastien rushed me really, really well in this game. Even though I was buying time, like, I was stressing, and like I couldn't really like take off and run very much. So, like, kudos to like Victor and Ryan, like, getting open deep downfield, and even Max on that 4th. It was 4th and like 15 at one point because I got it sacked and got a penalty to keep the drive alive. So yeah, like, the completion percentage was low, the yardage was low, but I think, like, look at the 3 straight touchdowns we had. We're on 4th
all
down.
about touchdowns. Max Sidori is goated for those, like, holes he finds in the middle of the field. So
yeah. I feel very blessed to have Max snapping for me, and I think you could attest to that. Even Will has him as a snapper in the other league there. So
Yeah, sure-handed.
Yeah. Which game were you on, Max, for the semifinal? We'll go to that one.
I did Double Dippers, Average Joes.
I think this one was they thought whoever threw the most picks won the game or something, eh?
Yeah, I think there was 4 drives in a row, 4 or 5 that were it was pick, 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 pick. Like,
And there was 3 straight throws with a pick.
yeah, it was insane. It was
Oh, you
insane.
went for the play-by-play, Willie?
Yeah, yeah. Come on now.
I was just like, okay, it was me and Craig and sorry, me and Alex, and we're just like, might be a long one with stop clock here, but nine total picks, but they still scored almost 40 points each, which is you never see that.
Yeah, Jason Edwards told me that they threw 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The loss, Mike, was Armanti throwing by accident, or it was actually Avery? Like that's kind of the stat line that Jason Armanti would usually have, right? Um, but in addition to that, you see Avery rushing for over 100 yards.
Yeah,
Just like in Brossard, right? Plenty of rushing, no sacks against him in that game. But like
he looked really healthy this weekend overall. The biggest play was a pick one by Rich Perez, and it's a 1 point win. That's like plus 3 picks on defense. That was the performance of the weekend, I thought. And he ran the whole field, and Average Jones have a lot of fast players on their team. And he kind of just said, screw it, I'm going all the way. And then he made it.
You know what you say it comes down to converts. It comes down to those pick converts. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's the convert plays either way, but Rich looked almost a little deceased after running the whole field, but worth it, I think.
Well worth it for sure, because like you see that when you have the ball and you're driving under a minute and you're only down 5, a touchdown wins it, right? Like if you're down 8, you're still in the game, but when you're down 5, when only needing a touchdown, not even needing that convert to take the lead, definitely reduces the stress there. And look, Double Dippers getting a touchdown in the last minute of each half of this game.
And they're missing Mason too.
Yeah, Mason unfortunately is out, I think, for the remainder of the playoffs. Look, they're missing Mason, the outside Alexis Ferrand on their roster, who only unfortunately played 1 game for them. I said it a few episodes back, instead of finishing at the 1 seed, because the Double Dippers, I think, as the team, take away Division 1 and Outlaws, who have finished at the 1 seed the most often in MFL history, and have not many playoff wins to show for it. This year, they decided to just squeeze into the playoffs in the last week, not even knowing they were in the playoffs, texting me, how did we make it with all that crazy tie-breaking scenario, and upsetting Average Joes in the first round. So I think they found their new formula to victory, lose a few more games in the regular season and save those victories for the playoffs when it matters most, right?
It worked.
Yeah, of course it worked. And yeah, before getting to their tough matchup against Respect, let's go over this bin nice TDs. I don't know if you guys caught any or much of it, but close game, 7-point game here. Small Valley Cat getting a pick on defense. So did Ben Lefitzi and Guillaume. You can see Andrew 6 for 62 touchdowns. Was it been those 3 picks might have been the difference there. But they also
a little bit more low score. Sorry, Terry. A little bit more low scoring than I thought.
Yeah, well, Ben usually playing those kind of low scoring-ish games, right? Maybe for nice TDs. Yeah.
I heard a lot of drawing from Guillaume and Andrew, some miscommunication while routes and decision making. I had the field judge too, so I could see what was happening. I think they left points on the field that they could have had, and they were a bit unhappy about that, and that's probably why I was closer. But you still have to give props to Ben's defense to stopping just in general Andrew. 60 yards that's a good. You take that with like pregame, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Good point.
So now we got Double Dippers Respect. Double Dipper Respect had that well-deserved first round bye, coming in fresh to play against this Double Dippers team. I think they faced off in the regular season, and it wasn't close at all. But they were.
Yeah, it was surprising that one.
They were without their quarterback. I'm pretty sure it was Pio filling it. Was it Pio filling in that game, or?
I believe so.
Yeah, Pio filling in that game. He played almost a perfect game like he usually does. They even had Mason Miller in that one. What are the keys to victory for Double Dippers, guys? Like, how did the Double Dippers win this one? I think it'll probably be one of the biggest upsets of the weekend, right? If they could pull this one off, I
Yeah,
think so far all the games we've been talking about have been pretty close, even when there's a clear underdog. Maybe except for the women's games, this would be one of the biggest upset of the weekend if they could pull it off.
I think you got to keep it close as long as you can, right? You talk about, when you play against like Patrick Mahomes and keep him on the sideline. Look, double dippers, they don't really go deep all that much. I think it's a lot of 3, 4, 5 yard gains from Brisson that are going to be huge, right? And make up second and manageable, make it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and set up those situations. Keep Steve off the field. I really don't expect it to be a blow. Honestly, I think it's going to be a one possession game, maybe even closer than that. I think that having a bye is great because you have one less game to win, but it also means, like you guys said, you have a certain amount of rust that you want to kind of keep get rid of right away. But I think double dippers key for them is keep this offense on the field, have short plays, sustained drives, and they're gonna have to punch it in the red zone when they get there.
I disagree that it's going to be close. I think after watching them, like I think Steve is going to carve them up. I don't think Steve is Pat Mahomes. Dad is closer to Tom Brady than anything else.
Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, pretty damn close. Tom Brady, and he has a few years left.
He's still 3 away. He's still 3 away. So 3 or 4. I forget how many Tom has, 6 or 7. But I think the only chance is if Simon covers Laurent the best he's ever played defense in his life. Otherwise, I can't see it happening. Justin, Laurent, Dylan, and Steve, I don't know how they're gonna match up with that. Mason is not there. I would be shocked if it's more than closer than a 2-score game, honestly.
Yeah,
but it's football. You gotta play the game.
Yeah. So what can Double Dippers do offensively to get as many points as respect then?
I think it's like I said, take what the defense gives you, and respect is not a team that's gonna get. They're not gonna get beat over the top. They'll give up short few yardage, and you became really Brisson's really good at kind of reading that triple slants ish play or that all hooks play, and you kind of just see who's ever open. He's really good at reading that short to intermediate range there, and I think that Rousseau will be okay giving it up. So it's taking, if you're double dippers, take what the D gives you.
Short plays, long drives. Make it that there's 6 possessions each team, and you hope you get 1 extra score in conversions. If this is a 10 possession game each team, I think this is going to be like a 2-3 score game. But that's the only chance they have is Simon guarding Laurent with the heights, because he's unguardable for most people, and keeping the drives overall for both teams to a minimum. Keep, like you said, dad on the sideline.
And then the other semifinal, we got the Thunder Buddies Nice Cities. They faced off earlier in the season. We won that one, very close game. It's a 2-possession game, but it was the difference of converts, right? They didn't get any converts in this game. We got 3 points off of converts, and that's kind of how we won it there. You spoke about Andrew being limited last game. You see here, even in the loss, he had over 100 yards. Definitely a matchup nightmare for any team. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this semifinal for sure.
Who rushes for you guys?
It's a mix of Rob and Remy.
You gotta put your fastest guy on Andrew, and also have someone over the top too. You gotta almost have like 1.5 guys on him at all times, and you hope that Gil misses his throws to keep him in check. This will be a close one. I can't see either team pulling away.
Both sides. Did you mean it in a way that we needed a faster rusher or a slower rusher or a taller rusher?
No, because if Remy was rushing, I think it's going to be more of a struggle to guard Andrew. If you have, just because you need a speed guy on him. Unless Terry, you're going to guard him, but he's shifty.
To say the least.
This is a coin toss. This is a tough one. Both teams have experience. I think this will be a convert game, probably like a 32-30, a 2-point convert's the difference.
Who's your pick?
I'm the only one who can pick here.
Yeah.
Should I just pick against you for the views? Let's do it. We'll go nice TDs, 30, 31-30. It's like could go either way.
All right, all right. For double dippers now, if there's one thing that reassures you in your chances, it is that in Division Two, it's been the second division with the most champions in all of the divisions in all of MFL history, including Winter, Brossard, Laval, all that. There's never been not a back-to-back champion, but a repeat champion. As you can see here, it's always been a different team that's won it. And respect, Thunder Buddies and Nice TDs are already on that list. So that gives the highest chances to double dippers to winning a D2 championship this year, since there's that curse where a team can never win two.
Double dippers versus that's true. Thunder Buddies also they won, so you guys are all screwed now, I guess.
Yeah, been a little bit of a running gang, especially Brian had pointed it out a few seasons ago. It's pretty crazy. It's never the same team win Division Two twice.
Yeah, that is a crazy stat. I never would have thought of that. I guess you have a lot of in D2. You have a lot of teams changing.
Yeah, like
year over year.
Yeah. Like the closest you would have gotten is Red Zone and Red Raiders. Both Mike Roy quarterbacking both those two teams, very similar in names as well. A few core guys there, but it's still not the same franchise, right? So,
yeah. Outlaws and Thunder Buddies are also similar.
Yeah, even Respect and Thunder Buddies and Outlaws. Yeah. But keep that in mind, double dippers. You have some hope. Last but not least, I think we have Division 3 left.
You have 3.
Let's start with this one. So Iron Wolves, Tropic Thunder. I think our boy Carlos had quite a few sacks in this one. We heard him count them in Spanish at some point. 5 sacks in the game. I think he was really the difference maker there. Even though Justin didn't throw any picks, John thrown for 6 touchdowns, only 7 incompletions. That was great as well. Great ball distribution. Were you on this game, Max?
Nope, I had a free slot here. I didn't. I caught the end of both games, but this was not mine.
Did you watch it, Willie?
I saw bits and bits. John was throwing darts. Like that's how I have to summarize this game. He was throwing darts left and right, like he was Leonard from Notre Dame.
And then
he was taking over the top.
And then in this game, both of you like talking about TSN turning points. I'll give you one over here. I don't know if you saw it. Drama Club were up 14-13 late in the first half. Last play of the game, not almost last play of the game. Last play of the game on the 1 or 2 yard line. Marvin Steinberg pick 6. What a shift in momentum there. You're going into halftime. You don't score. You're going to halftime up 1. Instead, you're going down. You're coming out of it down 5. Like a huge swing over there. Drama Club still end up scoring early in the second half. What did Marvin do with the ball?
That's it. That's insane.
Yeah, huge play.
And then getting ball to start, going turnover on downs, and then Drama Club scoring and taking the lead. But then after that, it was all secure, scoring 1, 2, 3 straight touchdowns. They didn't really have an answer for Marvin's deep ball or Marvin's running ability, or Marvin on defense. Like, look, Drama Club had a great season. They were a great team, right? They ended up losing the game by 5 points. Secure milking out all the clock. Drama Club getting one last play left from midfield. Hail Mary didn't come through there, but they were just that close to winning it, right? Smo did a great job in this game, dissecting the defense, 25 or 40, 250 yards, 5 touchdowns. Besides that pick to Marvin on the last play, he threw another pick he would have liked back. Good ball distribution overall. But look, like Marvin's probably one of the better, if not the best player in all of MFL, right? I know he's playing quarterback on his natural position. He's still playing defense, but he's just a threat on that field, right? It's going to be tough to beat any team in any division that Marvin is on. And Drama Club came that close.
don't gas him up that much. He has his head's already swollen.
I don't know if it fits through doors, right? Like,
Does he watch the podcast?
I know he would. I know he would at the beginning. Hasn't really spoken about it now. At the beginning, he'd be sending us pictures of him watching it on his TV and stuff. But I think he probably should now, especially with the game that he put on there.
Yeah, Marvin, stay humble for the D1 finals. All right.
Yeah.
Got two great matchups this weekend, eh?
Yeah, CIA Fusion and Ducks. We saw all of Ducks. I think the whole team was there to watch that Drama Club secure semifinal. They had a bunch of buddies playing on Drama Club, but they also wanted to scout who they'd play against. I asked them if they had a preference. They said no, we'll beat anyone, so we're pretty confident there. They get to face secure. Marvin's now their problem. What are the keys to victory for each team? Who do you see coming out on top?
I love that. Like, people love the MFL. The whole team shows up on a Saturday just to watch the game.
And they're not even playing that day.
They're not playing. People practice during the week. They have group chats. They love it. That's great about the MFL. People, they care. The games are long. They matter. They feel like you're playing real football. Every game's a heartbreaker for one team. Yeah, I would say. I mean, I haven't seen the Ducks play too much, so I'm not certain. But if Marvin doesn't make mistakes and he kind of runs short throw, I think they have a chance. Otherwise, it looks tough. Ducks look, on paper, they look very, very strong.
Yeah, no, it's a good analysis there. I think it's cool to see teams come up and watching other teams play. Man, secure Ducks. I think that's going to be a good game. I'm giving the edge to Ducks in that one. I do think that it'll come down late in the game. I'm going to go 31-28 Ducks. And then the Iron Wolves CIA Fusion. I just love the way CIA is playing, and I love the way Iron Wolves are playing. So I do think we're going to get the best of both teams. But Iron Wolves had to go on a bit of a run, right? They weren't so hot at one point in the season, and I think they may be a bit more of the hotter team if you look at how they started off the season. So I'm going to go Iron Wolves making it to the chip. So I got Iron Wolves and Ducks representing Division 3, sorry, in your finals.
Yeah, I was gonna say Iron Wolves have John so he can cook the books and pay off the refs. He doesn't do that. I'm just joking.
Literally,
and they have Josh too, who's a veteran. JS on the team. With Carlos Rush as well against Alex. That's the matchup I'm looking at here. Alex is really, really fast. So if he can hold him down, I see that being really, really tough. But John might be magical. Who knows if he's healthier, feeling better too.
Two great storylines. This one, you can see that here. I pulled out the score line. Secure beat Ducks 18-0 during the regular season. Ducks literally one of the best offenses in the whole division. So that was very surprising to see there. Both quarterbacks combining for just 150 yards and 20 completions. I'm expecting a very different game there. And then the storyline with the other one is that like you mentioned, Iron Wolves needed to go on a little bit of a run. Not only did many of the CIA players play with Iron Wolves last season when CIA were in Division 4, like Jason and Connor, but a few of them also subbed for Iron Wolves during that sequence of needing wins there. I think it was Alex Zapliski who subbed for Iron Wolves over here in this game, getting the victory for Iron Wolves against Drama Club. So it's going to be an interesting battle of the two teams who have a lot of familiarity with among each other there. Look, CIA Ducks had the two buys. Let me just see when Iron Wolves played CIA in the regular season. It was very one-sided. That was early in the season, though. But to me, both games could be a coin flip. I like favoring the teams who had the bye, had the rest. I think I'm going to go with the CIA Ducks finals.
Wouldn't be surprised either way, man. It's going to be good Final Four teams left.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be one upset. I don't know which game it'll be. I think CIA is going to win, but real close. I think maybe Secure has the best chance to upset, but close.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much does it. We did all 9 divisions. The 6 Montreal, including the women, the 2 Brossard, the Laval. Congratulations once again to Laval and Brossard champions, Les Vilains. Impact and Southsiders. Well deserved. You already crowned the champions, got your championship shirts. Maybe it's a little bit of a preview for these Montreal folks to see what's up at stake. Those nice gold and white jerseys.
They're really nice. I have to get one to replace this one. Make sure Will doesn't get one.
We get that gold one.
Any closing remarks, guys, before we end the show?
Thanks for tuning in, and I'm excited for some semis.
Yeah, it was great having you, Max. Really appreciate your insight. And
Yeah.
don't forget, we're all at Libera once again this Saturday. Dress warmly. It should be another cold day. Quite a few games, 4 time slots. Everyone's playing. I mean, all the divisions are playing this Saturday. Semifinals, finals up for grabs. And yeah, see you all Saturday.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Max.